Welcome to Zürcher Gallery and the exhibition 11 Women of Spirit, Part 2, on view now through September 20th. Part 1 was shown in March during the Armory show, and Part 2 was originally scheduled for May to coincide with Frieze, but was postponed like everything else due to the pandemic. My name is Stephanie Guyet, and I'm excited to offer a quick walkthrough to give you a sense of the show and the work. We begin with the work of Elisa Jensen. These are from a recent series called Liminal Spaces, which I think beautifully conveys the underlying theme of the entire exhibition. 11 women artists using various forms and materials to explore the idea and need for transition, and what it means to occupy the space in between. For these works, Jensen is drawing on ancient Irish and Norse poetry, specifically the bird or phoenix as a symbol of change. If you look closely, you can see the artist has incorporated sand, creating a rich, textured surface that echoes the ephemerality of the blurred image of a bird in flight. Next, we have a group of small oil paintings by Claudia Doring-Baez. Several of these lush, intimate works are inspired by the work of Bakst. So these are painterly interpretations of photographs made by another artist a century ago. An artist who is similarly working through a period of global unrest, making a poignant connection between then and now. Next, we have a large-scale work by Holly Miller, a work that is both playful and poetic. The title, The Times, refers to the artist's skillful repurposing of the blue bags that contain her daily newspaper, employing them along with paint and thread to create a work that is at once abstract, but also handmade and discernible. From a distance, it's a grid, but up close, it's a collection of ready-made materials. Now we come to several small-scale abstract works by Laube. Many were made and reworked from larger pieces. What you notice first is the incredible explosive surface, layer upon layer of material, and the Baroque palette from dark purple to gold leaf. There's a play between light and dark, between spare and dense, and the sense of looking into an expanding star. Despite their delicate size, they feel grand and create a dynamic sensory experience, moving between tactility and sight, between looking and wanting to touch. Next, we have a fantastic surreal sculpture by Irene Gennaro. She's using wood, fabric, and plaster and painting the entire piece, as you can see, white. The monochromatic palette allows you to focus on the forms, from the wooden center that suggests perhaps a twisting tree trunk or bending limbs, to the accumulation of spheres and pointed cones at the base and in the canopy. Although figurative in a sense, it is altogether unclear what you're looking at and suggests something closer to the subconscious than the natural world. Yes. Now we have several works by Christine Heindl. These are paintings with collage elements such as paper and fabric. The patterns are incredibly intricate, composed of dense layers of color and material. The overall effect is visual and spatial dissonance that contrasts strikingly with the work's handmade woven quality. Next, we have several works by McConaughy. Although inspired by nature, she uses a variety of source materials for her paintings, including photos, sketches, and her memory. You notice right away the brushwork with calligraphic marks to render tree branches, and the hidden bits of unexpected color, such as gold and purple. Ultimately, this feels like a landscape from a dream, something felt and remembered. In the next space, we have work by Kozak and Anki. Kozak is a painter and a video artist, both of which come across in these works, which arise from her studies of the Hudson River. The palette suggests the wealth of colors that one sees when sunlight is reflected and refracted at the surface of water, and the lines suggest the movement of water, captured and frozen in the video camera. Next, we have a large-scale work by Anki King, who is a painter and a sculptor. You see here faceless, ghostly figures that are either trying to connect or separate based on your point of view. King is Scandinavian and attributes her palette to her childhood in Norway. She told me that her works start out very colorful, but ultimately land in this dark, somewhat foreboding place. In this work, the most recent on view, the lush green is inspired by Vermont, where she stayed during the quarantine. Now we have a large-scale work by Susan Mastrangelo, a piece that is somewhere between painting and sculpture. The artist uses cord filler, a large woven rope that is typically used for upholstery. She places the rope first to create the composition, and then follows with an intuitive process, applying paint and fabric. There's an overall air of spontaneity and whimsy caused by the play between surreal imagery and the tactile surface. Last but not least, we have two works by Bakst Wapner from 2020. The first is titled Split, and the second is called Fractured One. These similarly reside somewhere between painting and sculpture. She's using chiffon with acrylic and thread in Split, creating this fragile, ephemeral piece. And for Fractured One, she uses linen with acrylic and thread, which has the effect of a dense, opaque solidity. These pieces are very much in dialogue with one another and are both overwhelmingly about material and process. These works and the exhibition overall provide such a vast exploration of modes and materials, as well as a celebration of the irrational and unconscious, concepts that feel tremendously vital right now. The idea of trusting one's instincts and allowing them to guide you. We hope very much that if you can, you'll visit the gallery to see the exhibition for yourself.